Hey YouTube, Adam here, hope you're well. Welcome back to another episode of Wingterviews, which is the official title that I'm going to go with from now on. I toyed with it last time and I'm going to go with, the official title is now Wingterviews. The business of weddings, chatting to wedding pros about the business side, building a business, starting a business, all that stuff, with the focus being on wedding planning today. Hey. And I'm very excited to be joined by Olivia De Santos.
Hi.
And we've just filmed a load of stuff for Olivia's channel, talking about wedding videography and all that sort of jazz. And so you should definitely go and check out her channel and that video and subscribe to her because your channel's great. But yeah, thank you for being on. It's really interesting for me to talk about wedding planners because, like, from a videographer's perspective, a supplier's perspective, like everyone I speak to, there's like a preconception that working with wedding planners is like the golden ticket to big weddings, big budget weddings, high-end weddings, destination weddings, and everyone like you speak to, if I want to get more destination work, and they say you need to get in with planners. But is that the case?
Absolutely, especially for destination weddings, because very few couples who are looking to have a destination wedding plan it themselves. They always go directly to a planner, because they don't know the area, they don't know the locations, they don't know the venues, and they really want the expertise of someone that's on the ground floor there. So if you want to get those types of weddings, if you really want to work in France, if you really want to work in Portugal, then it's best to align with a destination wedding planner there.
So like a planner working from that country, a local one?
Not necessarily. Sometimes someone that is local, but some planners, say UK planners, often offer destinations away.
UK-based ones that do a lot of weddings in Italy, for example.
Exactly. Or Portugal, yeah. I'm a UK-based wedding planner who does a lot of work in Portugal. So
yeah. So like most couples that are trying to get a destination wedding just go straight to planners.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I suppose like it would be a lot of planning and faffing to organise your own wedding abroad, let alone in the UK, without a planner.
It's a lot of logistics, and it just makes it so much easier for the couple to find a planner that just knows and has a team already ready for them for their wedding out there. So yeah,
so
definitely.
That very much it's true then. It's not like a bit of an urban myth that planners help you get into those weddings. That is.
No, it's absolutely, especially in a destination setting. If you want to go really big budget weddings as well, if you want to do those really luxurious, 100k weddings and that sort of thing, then you're probably best to align with a luxury-based wedding planner as well.
Because I guess those kind of big budget ones, like I would think that the big budget weddings are going to be couples that have maybe busy lifestyles and just like they can afford to get a planner to handle it all for them, so it's naturally going to be a bigger budget.
Exactly.
Let's just briefly give us a rundown of your background, how you got into planning and...
Oh, yeah, lovely. So I kind of found wedding planning completely by accident, sort of. I was in my first year of uni and I wanted to find the job that I liked doing, so I sent out a load of handwritten letters on rose printed paper sprayed with perfume to a load of professionals in the area in Manchester and said, I've never done what you do, but I really want to try it. Would you give me some work experience?
Get your envelopes to stand out and that when you send the post.
Exactly, wax sealed, all that sort of thing. And one of the planners got back in touch and said, hi, I really liked your letter. I'll give you some work experience. If you're good, I'm going on my maternity leave and I'll pay you. So I had 2 weeks of work experience and she started paying me. And I started when I was 19. And wow. Yeah, my first wedding was a 70 grand wedding and just had my braces taken off. I was absolutely terrified. But I knew that from there that's all I wanted to do.
And you've been doing it ever since?
Ever since, yeah.
And how, because now you're doing a lot of stuff in Portugal, is that a new thing or?
That is a new thing, yeah. And I've been taking I only started my own business like within about a year and a half or so. Nulyweds, yeah, with a U. So that's a fairly new thing, and I have struggled with my health recently, so I've not done a lot of work with my own business. But I will be relaunching in October and hopefully mostly based in Portugal.
Exciting. Whereabouts in Portugal? Well, where's good for anyone watching to get married in Portugal? Because I know we chatted about the Algarve before, but there's a lot more.
I hate the Algarve.
There's a lot more to
I hate the Algarve. No, I don't hate it. I just feel like it's too touristy for me, and I want to appeal to those couples who want something authentically Portuguese and very deep Portugal. So the north of Portugal, like Porto, which is the Manchester of Portugal, you know, it has its own vibe, it has its own, you know, its own aesthetic, which cultural. Is very different. You've got the Alentejo, which is more like, it's very dry and arid and countryside and quiet and sleepy, but the fields are completely different, and the beaches are really untouched, and there are just some really gorgeous places in Portugal. There's more to it than the Algarve. Okay, there just is. Come talk to me. There are so many places in Portugal to visit.
It's good to know, because whenever I've had a Portugal inquiry, it's been the Algarve.
Yeah, because it's just like the shortcut, like, you know, I want a beach wedding, so I'm going to go to the Algarve. But you can have a beach wedding near Lisbon. You can have a beach wedding in the Alentejo. You can have like so many beautiful places.
So, what does a wedding planner bring to a wedding day, and how important is it to have one? Like, from a bride and groom perspective, obviously, like, that's understandable. But from a supplier point of view, how sort of important do you think your role is? Because when my first experience with a wedding planner, they got in touch with me and they said, I've got a couple that, you know, think that have seen you and want to, and it was all going through the planner. And so I always like to meet my couples in person. So, and I got back to the planner, I was like, yeah, give me my details, tell them to get in touch with me. And they were like, oh yeah, but it all seemed to be going through the planner. And it was like my first year, so I didn't want to, I know now that I could have just turned around and said, can you put me in touch with a couple, I want to speak to them, and they probably would have been absolutely fine with that. And I just thought everything was going through the planner. To any communication with the couple was going through the planner.
Well, it really depends on the type of planner there is, because it depends on how the planner works. I like my couples to have a direct relationship with the suppliers anyway, because I feel like you're going to be there on their wedding day, and it's important for you to gel, and it's important for your personalities to align. So I always make sure that the couple does meet the supplier, even if I have recommended that supplier. So generally the way that we work is the couple will come to us right at the beginning. Sometimes we do the venue sourcing, sometimes they have the venue already. And we learn more about the couple, what they want. We devise their entire budget and how much they have to spend on each area, aligning with their particular priority.
Most of the budget on video?
Most of it on video, yeah. Well, most of it on the venue usually. And then from there, we go through the steps leading up, maybe like a year or 18 months before the wedding. We'll find all of the suppliers for them, and generally we produce a short list of suppliers for each category. So a short list of videographers, a short list of photographers, that kind of thing. Coming to get you, Ing. That kind of thing. So once we've come up with that short list, some planners will do all of the work for the couple and, you know, do everything remotely, like you said, and so all of the communications will go through them. I personally believe that even if they have looked at my short list and said, I want to book Adam Wing, I will say, okay, I will set up a consultation for you. I will set up a meeting for you so that you can actually meet each other before you book, because I want the relationship to be direct. You are going to be there all day on their wedding. They need to know you. But not all planners do that, so make sure that you're aligning with the planners that will put you that will enable the relationship that you want with the couple, because there are some that will do everything remotely. Yeah,
because some videographers aren't bothered about meeting couples beforehand. They're happy to just book over the phone or whatever, but I like to meet them. And yeah, I naively was like, well, I don't see the point of going through a planner when I could just speak directly to them. But obviously since then I've worked with those guys again, and I've worked with other great planners, and they've been more than accommodating and helpful, and like you say,
and generally speaking, we just streamline the process for you.
Yeah, because now I get it, like, completely, because on the day you can tell the difference between a wedding with a planner and one without, and just having it runs so much more smoothly.
It runs so much more smoothly, and you also have things, for example, like we manage the payment schedules, so we make sure that you're paid on time. We make sure that the contract is fully read and signed on time, that your deposits are paid on time, all of that sort of thing, that you get all of the details before the actual day. Yeah. And that you have the on-the-day schedule, that
chasing payments, isn't it?
That you're actually fed on the day, for example. We make sure that your supplier food is sorted.
Massive point.
All of those things. So working with the planner is to your benefit, because we make sure that you're really looked after at the end of the day. We represent you and the couple at the same time. So we're in the best interest of our suppliers that we look after and the couple whose wedding day it is.
Yeah, it was getting to know, like, because obviously if you, as a planner, you've got people that you can recommend. You've got a network of suppliers, photographers, videographers, whatever, that you can recommend. And if you've got those people, you will know, like, for example, you would know, like, that I like to meet couples, so that you could put me in touch with the couple. But for someone new who's trying to get in with planners and doesn't know planners, how would, as a supplier, what's the best way to kind of get work through a planner, do you think?
So the best thing to look at is to look at whether they're working in the area that you want to work in. You'd also want to know if their style is aligned with you. So have a look at their website, see what their ideal client is. Just you'll be able to gauge kind of who they are speaking to. So say my style is very young. I'm into millennial couples and I am the millennial wedding planner. So if you don't want to work with people who are in their 20s to early 30s, then you're not, like, it's just, we're not going to match. So make sure that what my website and my style is actually speaking to you, and then you would want to send a really nice email just introducing yourself, saying, hi, I'm Adam Wing, I'm a videographer, I really like your work, and I'd love to have a little meeting with you about how we could potentially work together going forward. And from there you'll be able to tell kind of what, from the first meeting, you'll be able to have that chat of how you're going to work together, what your terms are, that you like to work with the couple directly, or that maybe the planner has a commission, or that kind of thing, whether you're going to offer a special rate to people that you're referred to from that planner.
Getting work through a planner, you would do a discount, or they would get commission from it?
Not necessarily. So it really depends on how. I would say if you're going to go about getting onto planners like recommended lists, that you figure out where you're going to go with it, like whether you are going to offer a discount, or in a destination context, a lot of destination wedding planners will expect commission. I don't take commission, but that's my personal thing. But a lot of local planners in destination areas will ask for a commission. So you can decide whether you want to work with people who take commission, or what your fees are going to be in line with that, with the fact that, you know.
If you're trying to get into that, like destination weddings, for example, I'm more than happy. I always say that I'd be happy to kind of move, you know, for the sake of couple hundred quid, little bit off the top, like to get into that kind of world and open you up to loads of more opportunities and portfolio and stuff. It's probably worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you just have to decide for yourself. I mean, I personally, especially with photography, I would never charge commission, because I feel like I'm getting some beautiful images and some beautiful video out of it. So those are things that I can use for my marketing and that kind of thing. So, well, if the couple allows it, which they usually do. So for me, I don't really see a point, particularly with photography. But there are planners that will do that. What I will say about commission, though, is don't raise your fees to take into account commission, because that's not fair on the couple. I personally, if people do offer me commission, I would rather that be a discount to the couple. So if, say, you were to offer me £200 for a couple, you know, for a wedding, then I would say, can you just take off that £200 from their fee, so that they are getting a discount? That's how I prefer to work it. But there are some planners that will ask for a commission, so just be prepared for that, and particularly with destinations.
I suppose it's going to be always nicer that a planner's happy to recommend you for you and not expecting a cut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just going into a video perspective for a sec, because most of my audience are going to be videographers. What are your thoughts on wedding video or videography for wedding? Do you recommend it to couples, and who would you look for in a videographer that you wanted to recommend?
That's really interesting, because when I started in the industry, I was like most people out there, when all the wedding videos that I had seen had just been shot by, you know, someone's uncles, cousins, aunties, you know, dog, that kind of thing. So they were all very shoddy, and you know, that was my vision of wedding video. And then when I actually started working in the industry, and particularly because I started with the very high budget weddings, the types of videographers we were getting were filmmakers, were, you know, real cinematic, you know, feature films, and they were beautiful, absolutely stunning. So I was sold on it straight away, and I was just like, I knew that I would make it my mission in my planning advice that they should particularly spend a lot of money on their photography and their videography. Sure. Like, never shortchange on photography and videography, because it's just going to frame your entire memories.
That you get in after the day.
Exactly. Those are going to frame your memories for the rest of your married life. So I find that it's so important, and video in particular it's a tough sell. I'm not going to lie. It's a tough sell because people have that in their brain that it is just an uncle. But once they have actually seen and been introduced to some really beautiful videos, it's much easier to say, look, you need this. You do need this.
Do you find that people are getting more on board with it?
I do. I think that even in the 5 years that I've been planning now, that it's changed, and that there are more videos coming out.
I'm in my third year, and it's changed. It's becoming more of a common thing now. And
I think social media is actually helping that a lot, because everyone wants to share their video, and video is a really nice, accessible way of watching someone's wedding rather than flicking through like hundreds of photos. So it's nice to just have that little trailer to put on your Facebook and say, hey, you know, that kind of thing. And when I look for a videographer, I'm really picky. I'm really picky with the people that I work with.
Yeah. That goes for any supplier, I guess.
Yeah. I'm really, really particular. I make sure that they speak to my particular audience, you know, and I also make sure that with video in particular, like what they're focusing on and what they offer, because these services are so complicated sometimes. With all the added extras and things like that. So some people have that, you know, documentary kind of thing, which is an hour long, and then you have that 20-minute thing, and then you have the speeches and the ceremony, and, you know, there are so many different combinations. So I tried to make sure that the videographers that I choose are offering the services that my ideal client would want. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for, and I am, to a degree, looking for simplicity in the package, because my couples are time poor. They don't have time to kind of go through everything and say, oh, I want this extra thing and this extra thing, and like they kind of want
the process as easy as possible.
Yeah, they want something direct, and they want to know what they're getting straight away.
Well, thank you very much. That'll do. I think that'll do.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, Liv's got YouTube channel.
I do.
Check it out.
It's Nulyweds with a U.
Nulyweds with a U. Make sure I'll link it all below. How are you finding the YouTube space then? Because obviously we kind of started doing YouTube at the same time.
Yes, we did.
Do you just, is it a hub?
Different directions.
Yeah, very different. Well, yeah, because your stuff is obviously planning advice for brides and grooms, and she's got loads of awesome knowledge to impart. But did you do it just to give advice to couples, or as a bit of a hobby, or is it from like a business point of view? What were your aims with it?
It was mostly for a business thing. I wanted to show my expertise. I wanted to, because I was doing it during the time that I was ill as well, it was just to keep my brain active as well, like keep myself in the industry and keep me talking about stuff that I love. But it has actually reached some couples, and I have gotten some inquiries from it. Like my Reasons to Get Married in Portugal video actually does really, really well. So people contact me and say, oh yeah, we saw these reasons and we want to get married in Portugal. So it's really helpful. So I would recommend a YouTube channel, but realize that you are speaking to yourself for a long time. You just are. But if you get 12 views and one person is looking for your services, then it's all worth it.
Yeah. I'm quite interested in it in a minute, and I'm trying to push it quite a bit. But I know there's loads of videographers that wouldn't bother going in front of the camera.
Which is weird because it's video.
Exactly.
It's video. This is what you do.
Videographers, we're not really promoting ourselves with video in that sense. Like, obviously you share your films and stuff, but not anything else. It's weird. You never see a videographer with a promo video of themselves.
Exactly. That's really
just
interesting.
Strange.
Yeah.
It's just their work, which is great.
That.
I do it.
Yeah, you do it.
I've got a promo.
You're special.
Thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you for having
any
me.
comments and stuff, as ever, leave a comment. Any questions, I'll get back to you. Maybe would you speak to people?
I'll dive in.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
That'll do. Thanks.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You can take that off now. Yeah, thank you.